Hi, Taurus. This is your January 2020 tarot reading for all Taurus signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I always throw out there if you're just coming to watch the videos, whether it's astrology or tarot, when I say like Venus and Taurus, this would be talking more about your sensitivity. I don't do love readings typically. And if love comes up, then fine, we'll speak about that. But I usually don't go in under love, especially if you're looking at it from a Venus aspect. Venus would be more of sensitivity, whether it's good or bad, and where that takes the situation. But if this is Taurus and we're talking about you being a moon Taurus sign, then we're talking more about your emotions. Unless you're, just a typical Taurus, a sun Taurus, then this would be your core energy. And if you're a rising, then we're talking about it from, that rising aspect and from from the regular houses in general. Taurus as a sun sign would be more of your core. I just like to make sure I throw that out there. I am getting across the board, though, for Taurus. This has a lot to do with communication, your own spiritual, soulful communication with yourself, as well as with your groups, friends, memberships. And they're messing with my ears right now, so there may be something that you need to hear more than speak. You may be getting information of things that you need to hear and be able to digest that information, and it may make a lot of difference over the month. I am getting sacral chakra right now. Let me take a look at something. Something's throwing me off. In my notes, I always keep my notes right here. Sacral chakra, I am getting Mars energy, which typically is your fire, your passion, your action, aggression, and what you're going to do with that. I am getting some grief, some guilt, some disappointment, some heartache, and even helpless or rejected energies. But I feel like this is more of communication with yourself than from someone else. Like you're trying to overcome that communication with yourself in some way, like self-judgments. Hi, Mr. Nappy. Say hi to everybody. Mommy's doing work. Now, like I said, across the board, I am feeling more of its communication with self and overcoming, I guess, some of the self-deceptions that you may have created for yourself. Self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, helping find liberation. But definitely you're going to be acknowledging it through your own ethics, your morals, your spiritual urges, your higher self-understanding, and coming into that no longer being hidden self, and then bringing it into the community, the memberships, those larger groups and friendships in some way or another. That seems to be what is coming across mainly, whether I've been looking at what they just said was self-realization. Self-realization in the higher mind. Some of this is because it's also where the astrology is hitting you, but I'm also giving you what Spirit is giving me. Really connecting with your goals, your ambitions, and if the right people are there for you in your life at this time, for you to take proper action. And then strengthen that sacral chakra. But I am getting some frustrated energies. Some frustrated energies, which could just be with guilt, sorrow, shame, anger, blame. I feel like what it is, like I said, it has to do with your higher self trying to communicate to you the direction of where you want to go, and if that's really being active, if you're really doing those things and following through in that self-realization. And that's going to be coming through really honoring and realizing if the people in the community, your friends, your groups, your memberships, are really helping to strengthen your goals your dreams, your ambitions. I told you mommy's working. I need to get in that hole. Thank you. So let's look and see what the tarot has to say. First deck that seems to be speaking is the Thoth deck. And then I typically try to get 2 decks for you. But let's see, what is the platform for Taurus? What is the platform for Taurus for the month of January? What's the platform for Taurus for the month of January? Let's shake some of this up and see what happens. For Taurus, yeah, I mean, Spirit's giving me self-esteem. You have the Wheel of Fortune. This is an end of an era, a beginning of a new one. The wheel can turn in your favor as long as you're being real with yourself and honest with yourself. You always want to make sure that it's turning in your favor. This is a good thing, but I do feel like this has everything to do with that self-esteem, self-value, liberation. And if you aren't coming into your power, then that wheel isn't going to be turning as easily for you at this time. This has to do with the unconscious mind becoming more conscious. What was I just saying? Defeat. This is 5 of, what is this? 5 of Swords. This is disbelieving in yourself. This is destruction and disintegration. Defeat, when you don't believe in yourself, when you doubt yourself, when you have lack of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, when you don't feel liberated, you're keeping yourself from this turning. You're staying stagnant. And if you're staying stagnant, it's because of that defeat. It's because of that lack of self-value, self-esteem in some form. And Spirit's more or less trying to tell you, no, this is about coming into a deeper development of self at this time, and that will help you. You are definitely meant to be going through the stagnation at the moment because you're coming into that deeper process of truth. And this is the 3 of discs in this deck, but this is technically the 3 of Pentacles. It is an earth sign, Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This speaks to you of finding balance. The 3 wheels must all turn. Your mind. This is like the 3. Where I always say, technically I always say the 4, but this would be mind, body, and spirit. This is mind, body, and spirit coming together, finding the fulfillment, finding the 3 wheels turning, and finding a balance and being able to bring a foundation, strengthening the very foundation, getting past the defeat, allowing the Wheel of Fortune to come in. This is a personal deck I created myself. I just haven't made it into actually publishing it yet. That's why it's on these little cue cards. But it's the one that's calling for you. So I just keep getting self-realization over and over and over and over again. Because without that self-realization, it can't come into a proper growth of your goals and your ambitions and your dreams. Scorpio, this is rebirthing. Rebirthing. Scorpio is considered sexuality, seductive, emotional, intimacy. It is the detective. It is obsessive. But for me, when I'm picking up, as soon as I got this with the energies that are going on with the other cards, this is about a rebirthing. Scorpio for me is birth, death, rebirth. It is, the circle of life itself and the mystery of it, which is what's going to make that Wheel of Fortune actually spin for you. So it is where you find self-value. Okay, Scorpio also on astrology would be the 8th house on a normal, if you were starting with Aries being on a universal scale. And when I do a lot of my astrology, the second house is your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Straight across is Scorpio, and that's where I say you lose your self-value, self-worth, and self-esteem. And that has to do with the relationships. And are those relationships healthy? Like I was saying, this is a rebirthing and refinding of it. So this may not feel good at the moment because considering the transformation, but it is a positive, healthy energy that is happening so that the transformation can take place. What else is going on in the platform? Yeah, Cancer sign. So this is your inner emotional security. This is the roots of who and what you are. This is the empath, getting deeper into its truths. So like I said, this is very much a wonderful, glorious energy that you're going through. You may not be feeling it, like I said, depending on where it is on that rebirthing energy and how much you're fighting, because I am getting that defeat card, how much you're fighting it, but this is definitely a positive thing. But Spirit is saying this has everything to do with your will. What do you will? Be a daredevil. Trust in yourself. Be a daredevil. Trust in yourself to get you where you truly want to go. Take the chance to believe in you. Let's see. That is the surrounding energy for Taurus this month. But let's see what's going on in up close and personal relationships. What is the up close and personal relationships? They could be your friends, your family, your children, your parents, your lover. Because like I said, I typically do not do love readings, but if it comes up, then we will discuss it. But up close and personal could be any of this. And since I'm doing it for such a wider variety of people, I leave it that vague. What is going on for Taurus and up close and personal for the month of January? Up close and personal relationships for the month of January for Taurus. Nope, you moved. I'm still getting the self-realization. Strife is the first thing that is coming out. Strife is the 5 of Wands. This is creating fiction and resistance. This is like, I feel like it's the heart chakra being blocked, the sacral chakra being blocked. It is burdened, overwhelmed, making rash decisions. I mean, it's strife. Let's see. What else is going on in this up close and personal relationships? Now I'm getting self-deception with the Hermit. Strife, self-deceptions, Hermit. This is you're beating up on yourself. I feel like in the relationships, you're beating up on yourself. You're taking full responsibility for the relationships when every relationship there takes two to tango. This is you going inward and trying to find the light. Okay? But it seems like instead of finding the light, you're beating up on yourself. This is why I said I felt resentment. I felt rejected energies. This is you beating up on yourself within these relationships in some way. For some of you, you're beating up on yourselves because of your very interest in those relationships. Princess of Wands. She is a daredevil in herself. Confident and daring. Overcoming the fears. This is what they're telling you. You need to overcome your fears, overcome your bad habits, overcome your bad patterns, step in your fire, get back to your inner daredevil, trust in your own grounding and your own truth, and then allow yourself to overcome that strife. And this will allow the Hermit will be teaching you how to find your own inner light. Is there anything here in this deck that needs to come out for up close and personal relationships? Up close and personal. This is redemption. Okay, cuff. This is actually Hebrew. And a lot of people don't understand Hebrew, so I have a little cliff notes on here to tell me, and what I'm being pulled to in the cliff notes is redemption of your fallen spark. Again, believing in yourself, believing in your own passion, your own fire. You can live for you. Why would you be burning your fire for someone else? Your fire is yours. That's that Lilith sacral chakra energy. And that I talk about from time to time when I do the astrology and the weekly healing messages. And what I'm getting with this actually is that Lilith energy. This is, if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your own fire, you don't believe in your own passion, but you believe in, because you're putting all that passion, that action, that aggression, that time into somebody else's desires, goals, dreams, ambitions, then where's yours? Why aren't you burning for you? Is what I'm getting out of this right now. This is the sun on the horizon. This is the very boomerang of the property of the soul, sending it out and bringing it back. This is what they're asking you. Bring it back to you. That own confidence, that own circle of life, that own time for you. Like I said, it's Hebrew, so I know that you don't fully understand it. Most of you don't, because unless you speak Hebrew or you follow it, I just give you the cliff notes. No. Up close and personal relationships. This is saying those up close and personal relationships can only be as good as you give yourself to be good. And if you're not giving yourself what you need, then how are the relationships going to be the ones that you need? The community, the memberships, the friends, how are they going to back up your goals, your dreams, your ambitions? How are they going to help you burn for you if you're burning for someone else? For someone else's desires and dreams. What is coming out now is Resh. It is the act of clarification, the ego being shaken so that it can awaken. It is the head. It is the starting point. It is where the brain thinks. It's where the fear is shocked out of the ego. It is the head being illuminated and the fire of the consciousness being brought back to you. This is beautiful energy, but like I said, depending on how much you're fighting it, it's not going to feel like it. This is getting you on the right path, getting you back to your own power, your own fire, your own liberation within these ideas of these relationships. Is lifting your conscious state of mind so that you have to actually rise to it. And depending on where you are on the relationships, it's going to feel a lot rougher. But this is a point of completion. This is the end of a cycle. It is where the gratification will be found. The satisfaction can be found. It is the needing of stability and finding of your own wholeness. So this is saying the relationships are more right now. I don't want to say it's time to be selfish and the relationships are only about you, but in fact, they are only about you. Because if they're your relationships, your communities, your groups, your friends, your memberships, what you are putting your daily mundane time into, and it doesn't support you, then this is the time of realizing what you need to do so that you can make that happen. Because what's coming, if you are not fighting for yourself, if you are, then you're on the right path, and this is just clarification and justification, as well as validation that you are on the right path. If you're not, this is telling you that if you don't get on it, this is where the destructive power is and why it will continue until you get on that right path. This is the 10 of Swords. This is where fear and loss holds and where it takes place and causes the destruction. So more or less, it's leading you, telling you how to lead yourself away from things that are not helpful for you. But this has to do with standing in your power. This has to do with your self-esteem, your self-realization, and bringing yourself into that truth. It's the Hanged Man. This is the time that during this month to sit back and really figure out where you want to go. What is going on in the goals, the dreams, the ambitions? Because the hangman never means that you're stuck there. It just means you're stuck there until you get a new foundational truth of what needs to come next. Then when we're getting into, pointless self-sabotage. This is the Seven of Swords, fluidity. This is too much head talking too much shit to yourself. And if you're talking too much shit to yourself when we're moving into those goals, those dreams, those ambitions, and financial successes, then this is saying, if your inner talking is talking bad to you, how do you expect it in those relationships or communities that have to do with those ambitions and dreams? How do you expect that bad talking to actually move you forward? You have to stop the pointless self-sabotage. The pointless self-sabotage is going to keep you away from everything that you are desiring. The Prince of Cups. The Prince of Cups means that there's also someone there that is very adolescent and very emotional, and not very clear with themselves, not very much going to stick around either. They can't be relied upon, I was looking for the right word. They can't be relied upon. And if you can't rely upon them, but you're giving them that power, of course you're talking shit to yourself, because you're in fear, you're in doubt, you're in worry of what is going to happen. This is telling you to tap into yourself. It's magic. This is the Magician, asking you to tap into yourself, tap into your own magic, tap into your apprentice of higher self. And I say apprentice of higher self because I see Magician as the apprentice of learning how to connect. If you are connected to higher self, then you're going to turn this around and you're going to be able to help those relationships, commitments, communities, groups all go into a direction that is supportive for you in supporting those ambitions, dreams, financial successes. But if you're connected to this shit talking to yourself, that bad communication, then you will magically create more. It all has to do with what you're connected to. And if you're connected to a lower vibrational energy that's destructive, then you'll continue to create destructively. This is all of this is telling you to trust in yourself, take risks, self-talk, tempt the fate, trust in yourself, trust in your own wheel of fortune. It's a wheel that can be moved forward, but if you continue to hold on to the disappointment, the lower vibrations, it's going to actually start turning it even more in that direction, is what's coming out. Goals, wishes, dreams. Goals, wishes, dreams. Financial success. Financial outside anyway. Sagittarius is what comes out. And the very first thing on the card that points out to me is being bored with routines. Being bored with routine. Being bored with, Sagittarius is all about freedom-oriented fire. Being able to tempt their fate, go after their fire. And, they're the arrow that shoots through the sky. Sagittarius, being bored with routines. Be adventurous. Take a chance. Get away from the lower vibration. Stop creating unhealthy magic. Get away from the people that are bringing that unhealthy magic. This is all about you getting right with self. If you're getting right with self, you're getting right with your self-realization, then everything will be flipping over. But if you're fighting it and you're still listening to everybody else's conversations, everybody else's truth that they want you to be part of, then this is going to be a problem for you. The next thing that is coming out is the Ayin. And I feel like this is an overall. The Ayin is another one in Hebrew. This is divine providence. This is sight and consciousness being seen. It is seeing, watching, knowing. It is the foundation, it is the fountain itself of wisdom being shown to you. See, as above, and as below. In Hebrew, there's two fountains of water: the higher vibration fountain of water and the lower vibrational fountain of water, soul and ego. And if you're only paying attention to that lower vibrational fountain of water, then you can only swim through that lower foundational fountain of water. This is asking you to see the higher, see above, trust the above, and swim in that higher fountain of water, the soulful one, not the egotistical one. Get away from those people that are leading you in the wrong direction. The Ion is asking you to believe in the Ion is asking you to believe in divine providence, divine sight, and divine consciousness. But what I wanted to say was, what did I want to say? I was saying preventing you from your consciousness, more or less preventing you from security. What is preventing you from security is that lower vibrational water. And that's what I'm getting, is you've been swimming in that lower vibrational water, trusting in the people who can't be trusted in, and allowing them to create self-sabotage for you to be able to accidentally believe in them more than you believe in you, and create negative magic. This is telling you it's a time to cut those cords, step away, and get right with yourself and get right with the direction you want. And if they're not leading you in the ways of your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, they can't support you in that, then what kind of community, groups, friends are they? Because they're not helping you get where you need to get. I just keep getting the daredevil asking you to step into the wheel of fortune. Get away from your own self-defeat. Over and over and over again. It just feels like a circle that keeps spinning, but it's like you're not getting it. And this is asking you to believe in yourself. Take a chance on self. Remember, you also have Uranus that is in your sign. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem in your sign, in Taurus. And it will be going direct, I believe, the same day as the full moon and the eclipse on the 10th, which is really going to push things in a whole new direction for you. And then you also have Venus going into Pisces on the 13th, which is that 11th house. Your sensitivities are about to rise in your communication, and in your communication with those groups, those memberships, those ambitions, those friends, with yourself. And you're really being put in a position, act now, as Uranus goes direct with your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, or you'll lose yourself now. I love you guys. This is the time to claim your power. Claim it. Bye.